the history of filmmaking in Nigeria. Nigeria, a land of vibrant stories, colorful traditions, and powerful voices. From the ancient art of storytelling beneath the moonlight to the dazzling screens of modern cinemas and streaming platforms, Nigeria's filmmaking journey is one of passion, resilience, and transformation. This is the story of how a nation of storytellers became the heart of African cinema. The beginning, traditional storytelling and colonial influence. Long before the camera ever arrived, storytelling thrived in every Nigerian village. Under the moon's glow, elders would gather children and adults alike, spinning tales of heroes, gods, tricksters, and spirits. These oral traditions, performed through dance, song, and drama, became the earliest form of Nigerian cinema. They carried moral lessons, celebrated culture, and preserved history. Then, in the early 1900s, a new kind of storytelling began to emerge, one that used a lens instead of a stage. During the colonial era, British administrators brought film to Nigeria, not as art, but as propaganda. These early films promoted the British Empire, showcasing their so-called civilizing missions across Africa. In 1903, the first film exhibition in Nigeria was held at the Glover Memorial Hall in Lagos. It was silent, black and white, and foreign. Yet, it ignited curiosity. By the 1920s and 1930s, mobile cinema vans traveled across towns, screening documentaries about British exploits and missionary work. But while colonial films glorified the empire, they also exposed Nigerians to the power of the moving image. A seed had been planted, the rise of indigenous storytelling. By the 1940s, Nigerian filmmakers began to take charge of their own narratives. One of the earliest pioneers was Hubert Ogund, a playwright, musician, and visionary often called the father of Nigerian theater. Ogund founded the first contemporary professional theater company in Nigeria, the Ogund Concert Party. His stage plays, such as Tiger's Empire and Strike and Hunger, reflected social realities and national struggles. When cameras arrived, Ogund adapted his plays into films, marking a bridge between stage drama and screen storytelling. The 1950s and 1960s brought others, Ola Balogun, Eddie Ugboma, Ade Love, and Baba Sala, who transitioned Nigeria from theater to cinema. They produced movies that celebrated African identity and criticized corruption, colonialism, and inequality. They shot on celluloid film, expensive, fragile, but powerful. The newly independent Nigeria of the 1960s was bursting with optimism. The government supported film production and established the Nigerian Film Unit, which documented events and culture across the country. It was a golden beginning, the celluloid era. In the 1970s, Nigerian cinema began to flourish. Filmmakers used 16mm and 35mm celluloid film to produce full-length features that told distinctly Nigerian stories. Ola Balogun's Ajani Ogun, Ade Love's Katara, and Eddie Ugboma's The Rise and Fall of Dr. Oyenusi were among the iconic productions of the era. These films blended folklore, urban struggles, and nationalist ideals, giving Nigerians a mirror to see themselves. Television also grew, with the Nigerian Television Authority producing legendary series such as Village Headmaster and Cockcrow at Dawn. These shows created national icons and united audiences across tribes and languages. But filmmaking was not without struggle. The cost of importing film stock, lack of equipment, and poor cinema infrastructure made production expensive. By the 1980s, economic decline, government instability, and lack of funding began to cripple the industry. Still, storytellers refused to give up. The birth of Nollywood. Then came 1992, the year that changed everything. In a small electronics store in Onitsha, a merchant named Kenneth Nebu produced a movie using a home video camera. It was titled Living in Bondage, a film about greed, rituals, and redemption. Shot in Igbo language and distributed on VHS tapes. Living in Bondage sold millions of copies across Nigeria and West Africa. It didn't need a cinema. It didn't need film reels. It needed only a story and a camera. That moment gave birth to Nollywood, a name that would soon rival Hollywood and Bollywood. The home video revolution democratized filmmaking. Anyone with a good story, a video camera, and passion could make a movie. Within a decade, Nigeria became the second largest film producer in the world, releasing over 1,000 films per year. From Lagos to Enugu, filmmakers like Tiko Benson, Zeb Ejiro, Andy Amaneki, and Amaka Egui filled the market with unforgettable stories, from romance and comedy to spirituality and crime. Stars like Genevieve Naji, Pete Edeke, Omotola Jaladi Quine, and Richard Mof Damaho became household names. Nollywood was more than entertainment. It was survival. It was Africa telling its story, its way. The digital transition. By the early 2000s, technology began to evolve, and so did Nigerian cinema. The era of compact discs and digital cameras replaced bulky VHS tapes. Filmmakers began experimenting with digital video, improving quality and expanding distribution. Movies like Oswofia in London broke international barriers with comedy and cross-cultural storytelling. Soon, Nigerian films were screened at international festivals, from Toronto to Berlin, and began attracting global attention. In 2006, Jida Amada's The Amazing Grace marked a new standard in cinematic quality. It was followed by The Figurine in 2009 by Kunal Afolayan, a film that proved Nigerian cinema could compete globally in storytelling and production. Digital technology made editing faster, visuals sharper, and storytelling more dynamic. The new Nollywood had arrived, the cinema renaissance and streaming era. By the 2010s, a new wave of Nigerian filmmakers began redefining the art form. They moved away from straight-to-video releases and embraced the cinema culture once again. Modern theaters, like Silverbird, Genesis Deluxe, and Filmhouse, reopened doors for big-screen storytelling. Films such as October 1st, The Wedding Party, King of Boys, and Anikulapo captivated audiences both locally and globally. Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Showmax recognized Nollywood's potential, investing in Nigerian productions and bringing them to worldwide audiences. Genevieve Naji's Lionheart became Netflix's first original film from Nigeria, while Kunal Afolayan, Kemi Adediba, and Jado Sibru continued pushing the boundaries of storytelling. The industry also diversified, blending traditional themes with modern realities, romantic dramas, political thrillers, historical epics, and fantasy adventures. And for the first time in history, Nigerian filmmakers began winning international awards and global recognition. The impact and the future of Nigerian cinema. Today, Nollywood is more than just an industry. It is a cultural revolution. It employs millions, actors, writers, editors, designers, and producers, making it Nigeria's second largest employer after agriculture. It contributes over $600 million to the nation's GDP annually. More importantly, it shapes identity, redefining what it means to be African and telling stories the world had long misunderstood. From local tales to global triumphs, Nigerian cinema has become a bridge connecting the ancestral fire of storytelling with the digital future of film. But challenges remain: funding, piracy, poor infrastructure, and the need for better technical training. Yet, if history has shown us anything, it's that Nigerian storytellers never stop dreaming. The next era may belong to young filmmakers experimenting with animation, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence, blending ancient stories with futuristic tools. Because in Nigeria, the story never ends. It evolves. It lives. It speaks. From the flicker of a projector in 1903 to the glow of a smartphone screen in 2025, Nigerian filmmaking has journeyed from celluloid to streaming, from humble beginnings to global acclaim. And as long as there are stories to tell, as long as there are hearts that beat to the rhythm of drums, Nigeria's cinema will continue to shine, bold, brilliant, and boundless. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and share.